Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, August 26, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with a Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt tribute episode of WWE Smackdown broadcast live on Fox last night from the KFC Yum Center in Lexington, Kentucky. The show, which was modified in the hours leading up to it from what was originally planned in order to pay tribute to both Funk and Wyatt, featured a main event pitting LA Knight, Bray Wyatt's final opponent, against Finn Balor, the first opponent of Wyatt's Fiend persona. Knight preceded the match with a promo dedicated to Wyatt.
As I look around, I can hear it, I can feel it. Again, when I saw each one of those fireflies out here tonight, I know that all of you can feel the spirit of Bray Wyatt in this building. Now, I ain't gonna come out here and act like he and I were best friends, but I will repeat that exact sentiment. Thank you, Bray.
Knight pinned Balor to win the match, and the show closed with a shot of Wyatt's lantern in the ring in a darkened arena. The show opened with WWE talent gathered on the entrance ramp stage for a moment of silence, followed by a 10-bell salute as graphics of Wyatt and Funk were shown on the Titantron. Included with the assembled talent was Joseph Rudd, who appeared in WWE in the past as Eric Rowan, a founding member of the Wyatt family, along with the late Wyatt and late Luke Harper, aka Brody Lee. Tribute videos to both Funk and Wyatt were shown throughout the program, and Cody Rhodes also paid tribute to Funk with an in-ring promo.
There's this little thing called the rub. When someone with such a legacy, with such equity, steps into the ring with those who don't have it, reaches down their hand and pulls them up to their level. Some legends do that for one or two. Terry Funk did that for an entire company, an entire movement, an entire revolution.
Cody also introduced a hardcore match in Terry Funk's honor, pitting the Street Profits against the Brawling Brutes, which was won by the Street Profits. In other results, Io Sky successfully defended the WWE Women's Championship against Zelina Vega, and United States Champion Rey Mysterio defeated Grayson Waller in a non-title match. The previously scheduled Bloodline segments, which were to include the return of Jimmy Uso, were postponed until next week's episode of SmackDown. AEW presented Rampage last night on TNT, featuring matches taped last Saturday night at Rupp Arena, also in Lexington, Kentucky. In the main event, Saraya and Toni Storm defeated Britt Baker and AEW World Women's Champion Hikaru Shida when Saraya pinned Baker. In the opening match, Orange Cassidy successfully defended the international title for the 30th time, turning back the challenge of Aaron Solo. Also on the show, QT Marshall defended the AAA Latin American title he won 2 weeks ago at Triple Mania, defeating Gravity. More on the passing earlier this week of Terry Funk. A celebration of life will be held for Funk this coming Thursday and Friday in his home state of Texas, according to details shared by PW Insider. The visitation is scheduled to take place at Brooks Funeral Directors in Canyon, Texas, on Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. local time, with the funeral service to be held at 2 p.m. the following day at Hillside Christian Church in Terry's hometown of Amarillo. Game Changer Wrestling and Renegades of Wrestling presented a co-promoted show yesterday on Fight TV pay-per-view from the UNSW Roadhouse in Sydney, Australia. AAA Mega Champion Hijo del Vikingo, who successfully defended his title in the main event against El Gringo Loco. ROW Heavyweight Champion Caveman Ugg retained his championship against Joey Janela, and ROW Women's Champion Aisha was also victorious in a three-way match against Lena Cross and Steph DeLander. In other selected results, Maki Ito defeated Charlie Evans, and Allie Katch and Effie beat Frankie B and Nikki Van Blair. And we close with a look at Japan. Wonder Ring Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix tournament continued today at the Nagoya International Conference Event Hall. In the Red Star block, Starlight Kid defeated Saya Kamitani by forfeit, and Natsuko Tora topped Tam Nakano. In the Blue Star block matchups, Mirai beat Julia, and Maika defeated Utami Hayashishita. And finally, on Friday at Korakuen Hall, the Seedling promotion held their 8th anniversary show where Sarai won her first championship since leaving WWE last spring. In the main event, Sarai defeated Arisa Nakajima to win the company's top honor, the Beyond the Sea title, in 27 minutes 32 seconds. It's Sarai's first title of any kind since early 2021. Nakajima falls in her third defense. Also on the show, Ayami Sasamura and Riko Kaiju defeated Sumairi Natsu and Maya Yukihi to retain the Seedling Beyond the Sea tag team title. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.